A day worker reaches into the wall of the parsonage his crew's revamping and pulls a piece of history up, the edges of its pages crumbling under the fingers of his glove, and I have to think that if his supervisor isn't walking by at just that moment, then this construction grunt stuffs that journal from a century ago into his tool belt to pawn or trade for beer, and the world never knows about it. If this works out, though, then I owe that day worker my career. In January, I wasn't exactly denied tenure, but I was told that instead of continuing with my application, I consider asking for the extension I'm currently on. The issue wasn't my teaching. I'm the day worker of communication and journalism, covering all the 1,000 and 2,000 level courses. It was that my publications aren't up to University of Wyoming standards for promotion. See, get a book under contract, Etsy, and then we'll talk. And if you don't, then all your schooling, all your dreams of being a professor, they're smoke, and you're out in the cold. Until that random day worker reached into that wall. Until what he found wrapped in mouse-chewed buckskin wound up in the hands of Special Collections librarian Lydia Ackerman of University Montana State up in Bozeman, and she was able to read the scripty hand enough to glean a name from the very front page, Arthur Beaucarn. It's not far from there to me, that surname not exactly being common. And because technically that journal belongs to me, well, my father, then me, but my father and his facility down in Denver is not exactly compos mentis, Lydia Ackerman's been sending me the digitized pages as they're processed, the original being a century too delicate to handle. But I don't think she does it out of kindness. It's to keep me from showing up unannounced again. Etsy? She asked when I did show up like that in May, breathing hard from the stairs. She was looking from my ID to me to see which was the typo. It's Betsy, really, I didn't say. But a boy with a speech impediment in kindergarten, who cares? The last name, I told her, as politely as I could. So I was led back to the workbench they conserve delicate literary artifacts on, was made to mask up, glove up, booty up, and then sit like that through a lecture about the lignin content of old paper and the homemade inks of the late 19th century, and how this particular ink had aged into acid that was eating away the brittle old paper it was written on, meaning the individual letters collapse into hopeless crumbles from just the slightest breath, thus the case the journal's enclosed in. It's for humidity and temperature, Lydia Ackerman explained, like giving a tour to second graders. But mostly it's to keep any breeze from punching those black letters from the pages, effectively erasing this amazing find from history. It's also for dust, Lydia Ackerman leaned forward to say in some sort of confidence, like dust was a profanity in this particular room. Even dust weighs enough to make the letters fall through the paper. To be sure I got how dire this all was, she heated her eyes up and raised her eyebrows. I'll be careful, I assured her. At which point she unlatched the glass case, both of us holding our breath behind our masks, I'm pretty sure. And finally, I got to look directly at my great-great-great-grandfather's journal. The workroom we were in smelled like my dad's chemistry lab on campus, sending me back to being 10 years old, when I'd yet to betray him by choosing the humanities over hard science. Sorry, Dad. Again.